You're listening to the Para House Entertainment Network. Come join us as we take you deep into the fire, to the paranormal realms of hauntings, UFOs, ETs, alien abductions, strange creatures, and the vastness of universal consciousness, as we continue to seek what is not supposed to exist, as we search for the truth that only comes from going into the fire. Good evening, everyone. And that was kind of scary because you don't know what happened on our end, but I was totally knocked out of everything. As soon as we started broadcasting on the air, I got like booked out. I went, don't tell me we just lost the whole show. Nobody else is in here. Everybody else is gone. Did you guys notice that or what?
Yes, that's where I was going. I was watching you blink in and out.
I was like going, oh my gosh. Well, it's a typical Tuesday night, and it's into the far, and it's crazy middle of October. And man, we got somebody awesome on tonight that we all just love to pieces. She's just a super person. I'll let you talk about her because if I start talking about her, I'll get all gooey and everything else because I just think she's one of
And you think we won't?
The best people. Yeah, I know, but I mean, hey. You know, there's two of you and only one of me. So double the pleasure, double the fun.
Well, go ahead, babe.
She's a great person. She's done so much. She's been through so much.
She has. She
Yes,
really
she
has.
has.
And she continues to just help other people out and go forward, rocking it every day.
100%.
Yeah. And
Yep.
It's
She
awesome.
definitely wears her heart on her sleeve.
Yes.
Yep. Have you figured out who we're talking about yet? Yes, we have the one, the only, Beth Allen on tonight. Hey, Beth, how are you doing?
Now I'm all gooey.
It
Damn.
is so great to have you here. And, you know, we can say so much about you and everything else. Why don't you tell us what you're into now? Because, I mean, golly, between teams, traveling, all the stuff that you do, the people and the things that you are, it's best to just get it straight from the horse's mouth, if you will.
Which end do you want?
Yeah. Well, since Melvin's not on here, let's take it from the mouth. Yeah.
Well, I see my friend, the parapug. That's
They are in the house tonight. Yes, the parapugs
gotta love
are in
them.
the house.
She was hanging on the chair.
They make my evening every time I see them. Well, I feel like I've just done 6 months at Brushy Mountain, but I'm but I'm coming back. I'm getting over the hump. You know, I have been dealing with some stuff since June. One thing I hope that everybody can learn from tonight, which it's not like you haven't always said it, we have to pace ourselves with what we do. Unfortunately, I got too busy and let too much happen, and I didn't take care of myself. So the last locations that I have been to were July 31st when I came out and saw you guys at the hall and Old Stone Jail. And right before that, my last location was Old Park out in Ballinger.
Mm-hmm.
But it put me into a situation where I couldn't do anything. And I knew I'd let it get too far because I'd been on the road, taking phone calls, not putting myself first. And it really took a toll on me.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, I have found that out myself, and I have been told for years and years, slow down, you got to do this, you got to do that. And it is so hard to do when, you know, you just continue to go and go and go and go. And you just think, I'm immune to this stuff. I can handle it. And as you keep on doing it, you're just getting deeper and deeper and deeper into a hole. And basically they're winning because they're taking you out of the picture for a long period of time because you're just not stopping, you know.
Well, and I didn't
And
go into the fire. I went through the fire. Oh, you
Sorry.
are you snoring already or grunting already? The dog is like, come on, Beth, you got better than that. Keep it moving.
We can move.
Yeah, we're 5 minutes in, and Beth's already put the dogs to sleep.
Yeah, I quit. The dog is like, wow, you're doing great, Beth. I can't. I'm looking forward to doing some more though. I am going to kind of lay low on the traveling for the wintertime.
hmm
It's too dangerous to come up because I don't do a lot here in Georgia. Most of my
No.
stuff is up in Kentucky with you guys, in Tennessee. I'm notorious for ending up in Texas. Just don't want to ever go back to El Paso.
Places all around there. It's amazing what we do, and we travel, and we do it all at our own expense too. I mean, that's one of the things that people don't understand.
And I'm broke.
Yeah, and we all are broke, but we all have a good time doing it because it's what we're supposed to be doing, right?
I mean, I'm not getting by on my good looks. I mean, I'm not working down at the I'm not working down at the local strip club. I'm just saying. But yeah, I'm looking to investigating one of those. If anyone is watching the show, I'm just saying. Strippers.
That is one thing that I have never done before. I've never done a haunted strip club because wouldn't that be something?
And
I know someone who has.
Trigger weapon would be the dollar bill.
Exactly.
There, we could put you up on the pole. No, that would have to be Melvin. We put Melvin up on the main stage in his frog costume.
That's right. Hanging on the pole, and we'll let Melvin handle it from there and throw on some big hair 80s music, and we are in the right place.
I'm sorry, the bad visual just happened. I mean, because think about it. We've talked about this before, all of us together on a show or whether, talking on the phone. People act like only certain places that spirits go to. You think they're not at the bank?
Oh, yeah, they are.
Yeah, I mean, you could sit in the parking lot of, I don't know, the Falcons Stadium. There's a lot of ghosts there. They never win. Just saying. But I always look.
That's a Georgia joke.
Yeah. I won't start on the Bulldogs, but anyway, you would think I was not from Georgia because I am not a fan of any of our major league big time teams except for the Braves every now and then. Mm-hmm. Because I grew up with the Falcons losing my whole life. So is what it is. But I'm looking for people here in Georgia to kind of, because you know me, I work with anybody. Oh, it's the Pimpin' Priest.
That's somebody right. Haunted strip club. There he is. That's it. Had to get on when he mentioned strip club, haunted strip club, because
yeah. And there's Casey with no collar.
Yes. How you doing,
we're not already racking up points.
Yeah. Yeah, uh-oh. We know we're in trouble when we have divine intervention and he just pops in like that, It's like going, hey, whoa!
I'm like, should I go get the holy water? I'm sorry. I've been bad.
No, I think he's got it with him. Hey, be prepared for the rain.
I'm like, should I go get the holy water? I'm sorry. I've been bad.
No, I think he's got it with him.
I do.
Hey, be prepared for the rain.
Hi, Beth.
Hi, honey.
I think somehow we're getting feedback from some
yeah,
guys.
I hear that.
Casey, is that you feeding back? You might have to put your headphones on. There we go.
Yeah, I hear that.
Still getting feedback.
Cancel me out, Billy.
Hang on a minute.
All right.
Okay.
Are you coming back?
That's what I was fixing to say. Come back.
I mean, come back. Well, in the meantime, while we're waiting for
you got
Casey
the link. I sent them. I sent him the link.
Okay, and have him come on back in, and we'll get it.
And-
we'll get
And
it going,
save Beth's soul so she doesn't derail the show.
yes, right. And excuse me, I'm having
We might have had way too many points.
yeah, right.
Uh-huh.
I'm still having a little bit of trouble from my roundup and going. So, but I want to say hi to everybody in the chat room. You guys watching that? We've got a great bunch of people in the chat room. Frankie Lynn, I see in there. Sherry Horick, Joanne, Vicki Norris. Hey, it was great having you at the hall last week. Sorry you missed out on Saturday night. Great night though. Great time for Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. We thank you so much and everything that you did there at the hall. We just had a blast, and it was just super having everybody there. It was a sellout. Everybody was just happy. I took some pictures. I will be posting them on Octagon Hall here shortly, just of the group. And this coming up week, I'll mention the Elite Vixens are going to be there, and it's another sold out weekend. So they're going to be running the show, and you'll be able to see maybe me for a little bit, and you'll see Tanya and Billy off and on a night or two, and we'll be there with the Vixens, looking for a great thing because the hall is winding up. It is October, and it really moves on from this point on. And then, if you can stand it, October 22nd and 23rd, you get to be there with the Night Stalkers, and then on the 29th and the 30th, we are there also. So hopefully it'll be a fun time. Everything is sold out, I do believe, right now, and we look forward to all those people coming to see us, and we thank you for all your support. So that's my message from Octagon Hall tonight. Let's get back to Beth in the chat room. Lars, how you doing? Leanne Rogers, so good to see you tonight. Ronnie D, man, how you doing, brother? Leanne Eskew, whoever else is in here, you guys got some help. Melvin Brazel, there he is. He's in there.
I
And
will.
He's in
we
the
got
chat.
Casey coming back right now, so let's bring in Casey Struggs again for the night. You back, brother?
Better?
Much better. Much better.
Much
We got
better.
it. Excellent. Fantastic. All right. So I will let you go ahead and take it away.
Go for it.
Me?
It's all you, man. I'm leaving it on you.
I love Beth. You
Hey,
do
honey.
Great stuff. I have missed you. Hadn't seen you around.
I miss you too. I'm getting better. I'm going to be back up that way soon.
Good.
Yeah, I got to
I'll
come
be
see my
close.
people.
I'll be closer to your area. I'm moving near Chattanooga, so I'll see.
I can't wait.
Be much closer.
I can't wait to see you. I was like, oh, wait, he's coming closer to here. What's going on?
Stepping up at the church, going to take over down there in Monte Eagle. This weekend, I'm doing DeadCon up in Fort Wayne. Huge event.
I wish I could make that.
I can set everybody up for next year because it's going to be back and bigger.
Good. I may be alive
Well-
by then. We all may be coming back by then. So
Can we bring the pugs?
happy on the Pug Love.
Yeah, the rock.
But no, I mean that is a super event in Fort Wayne, and they're already starting to talk about having it back, and that's just awesome. And man, you've got everybody and their brother. You got all kinds of talent from actors that are good. They're from scary movie stuff. It is October, and it is a big time, so it should be a blast. And I know that people are going to love to hear you talk about the stuff that you're going to talk about because you're going to get into the other thing. Why don't we all talk about, Beth, I'm going to steal a little bit of your time tonight, but I'm going to talk about, since we are in Halloween and all that stuff, what are some of the big things that we need to, as paranormal investigators, understand about the veil and everything else? You got some opinions on that, everyone?
Everybody all at once.
Yeah.
He's the master.
It's true
He's the one we need to listen to.
it's true that the veil thins at different times of the year. Think about a collective consciousness that at different times of the year through history, people have come together to celebrate or to gather at a certain thing. That resonates through the spiritual world because the spiritual world also goes through cycles, like we do at the church with different seasons. The same things happen in that kind of realm of the spiritual world. The veil's thin and there's more access to that type of interaction versus other times of the year where it seems blocked.
Kind of controlled by the equinox. Do you think that's part of it?
Think about that. We can only see a certain percentage of colors. You know, there are way more colors than we can see. And as far as this terrestrial world, the ley lines, the equinoxes, the patterns that shift, all of those play into factor. And this time of year, this October time of year, there's a reason why it's considered like it is with those veils shifting and lightning, and it's been celebrated for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yes.
I carved a baby pumpkin tonight.
Ooh, that's excellent. Excellent.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah, I heard the pumpkin.
You know, in this
going
year, I don't know how everybody else seems, but through everything that we've been through, and I'm sure, I mean, and I'm sorry, folks, when we talk about I mean, the people that you're seeing on the screen right here have seen and done a lot over this last 2 years, and this last year has just been horrid in my book. I don't know what you guys think either. I thought, wow, I can't wait to see 2020 go down the drain, and looking for redemption in 2021. And it's already October, and I'm like going, oh, please, 2022, you've got to be better than this, because, I mean,
right.
and I'm already doing it. But this was a real rough year. And it's still kind of tough. And the things that we're hearing, no matter what side of the fence you're on, whether you're awake or not awake or awoke, all that terminology, there is something that's very big and it's moving very hard. And we're in for a collision, and I think it's coming before the end of the year. What do you think about that, y'all?
Yeah, it's definitely been a ride.
As far as the awake or asleep, think of principalities. When we talk, you fight against principalities of darkness and evil. Principalities can control an entire area, an entire government, an entire country. It's like a blanket over it of spiritual, and in our case here, spiritual deception. When people are blinded to certain things, act a certain way. That's why you're seeing a rise in violence. I'm talking terrestrial now. Violence, kidnappings, road rage, all of that stuff. And the upper echelon of that is the spiritual battle that we've been talking about for the last few years, rising. And it's globally, we got people overseas, our churches overseas are being attacked and burned down. That it's all playing out, and this is just part of it.
And it's a big part of it too, and it affects everybody's everyday life, and it affects the paranormal in a lot of ways.
2021 is like 2020's evil stepsister.
I agree to that.
Yeah, good way to put it. Good way to put it, because as we go out, that's something else that everybody needs to understand. I mean, and I'm sorry that I'm such a butthole sometimes when it comes to the paranormal. And
it's not just paranormal, buddy.
Oh, I know. I mean, it's everything all together. But when you're walking outside of it and you see it, there's so many things out there that some people just don't look at, and they just walk right by it, and they open a door, and when they do that, it can collapse on you really hard and heavy. And we've got to be really careful, and we've got to watch what we're doing and how we affect other people, and how other people, even our clients, when we're talking to our clients, they're all affected the same way. As we deal with them, they're affected. And each team that we have, we deal with, everybody that comes to, just like if they come to the home.
We were pretty good in our team and stuff. Bear froze up. I'll jump in. When you go there, be sure you're conscious of your team and how they are, how they feel, and especially couples and stuff that are experiencing that you're gentle with each other and understand. There's an overlay of spiritual component that can cause you to react poorly, and having that level of understanding will help keep the fighting to a minimum, keep the drama to a minimum, and that's important. Especially if I'm counseling people like a couple, be gentle with each other while this is going on, so you don't get into some of those traps. And Sherry, hashtag free Sherry, says your hair looks awesome, Beth. And
I
Sherry,
love you, Sherry.
I got 5 more days in Facebook jail, and then I'm out.
How do you keep getting in Facebook jail? I just don't understand.
I've been a bad priest.
Yeah, you're the best at it, though. You're the best.
Facebook doesn't share everybody's opinion. They don't like me.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know where Bear went, but what have you got going on and coming up?
Just doing the, self-love and all that, getting myself back strong again. Not jumping in with many events and locations right now. Just taking that time to get myself back together. Because I know I'm going to be busy over the next 2-3 weeks because I'll be getting those phone calls. One of the things I'm glad that y'all just brought that up about, different things we need to be doing during this time. I'm seeing a rise in, and I don't know how, I will probably put my foot in this, but there's a lot of people that, oh, it's Halloween, we're going to be witches. Let's go play witch. Okay, let's go play witch. This is the worst time to go play witch. You don't know what you're getting into. You don't know what you're doing, and I'm tired of getting those phone calls. You can get yourself hurt, others around you hurt. This is also not a time for you to be playing paranormal investigators. This is not Ghostbusters. We don't carry proton packs.
For yourself.
I can't talk about what I carry, okay?
Oh, proton. Sorry. Yeah, and people around this time, they like to go walk in cemeteries and stuff, dabble like you're talking about in paranormal investigation. And you're right that it opens those kind of doors, and any kind of communication that you open, you don't know what's coming back, and that's where the trouble starts for a lot of these people.
Sadly, it's going to happen.
Right.
Regardless of what anybody on this panel says. All I'm going to say is that if you're going to do it, have permission.
Oh, yes.
Have permission. Don't break into these places.
Yeah, the trespassing will ruin you for the rest of your life. It is not something that people take lightly, and you could get shot.
Well, the bad thing about it is that we're talking about, and when we're talking about that, we're talking about the physical stuff, the everyday thing, what happens that way. The other thing about it is the spiritual side of the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
When you are walking into that kind of stuff and you disrespect, or you're doing that, you're breaking into that area and you're invading that, it never fails to me. I don't understand why people want to go investigate cemeteries. There's dead people there. Of course you're going to be able to talk to them. It makes 100% sense to me. And they are haunted. There are more places haunted around here, and that's one of the things that I think we would love to see more people talk about, because somewhere I see Melvin's on there. We'll bring him in just a second as soon as I shut my mouth up. But it's kind of goes like going, spirits are everywhere. You can find a spirit in any house, any day, any place. You just have to go and look for it and talk to it and communicate to it, and you will find it. Just the same way with how all the crazy things happen and all the things that we've done in our past, we have seen. It's out there. I mean, look at the world. Look at all the blood and the guts and the people that we're walking on. We don't even know are down here. From Indians and all the other stuff. So yes, it's big time, and we have to be respectful of what we do. So, all right, I'm gonna bring Melvin in here. I'm gonna stop talking about that. I'm gonna let you guys continue on and go from there. Hold on.
Hey,
Hey, Melvin, how you doing,
Hey,
buddy?
Pops.
doing good. How y'all doing tonight?
Hey, you sounded pretty good, and you're looking pretty good.
Oh, speaking of look pretty good, I got this today. I got a new COVID mask. Tell me what you think.
Oh,
Here
that's
we
good. Yeah. I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's a double. This side gets slobber in it. I'll just turn it around.
There you go. You got it both ways.
Yeah.
There's something that, I mean, what place did we go that just, I mean, was it in September when we were at the up at the farm together up there, or that investigation we did, or what happened?
Yeah, it was great.
Something came back. Just like, excuse me, I'm gonna take over Melbourne for a minute, and it must be some kind of weird comedian or something.
Hey, it wasn't as bad as McDonald House after we left Cayuga that night.
That's true. Is that not true? Oh my gosh, it has been an interesting time, and we talked about that just a little bit ago. And it's wonderful, and I'm just glad that we all survived those things and get to come back and do it again. And there goes Melvin again. He's still having problems with his internet stuff.
Just as quick as he
coming at him with the frying pan after holding
Yeah.
the bra up.
Exactly. This
Beth.
part has been This part
Frankie
has been
Lynn asked, do you have any suggestions on how to prepare or protect ourselves a little extra for this time of year, since the veil is thinner and all the craziness are out being irresponsible?
Well, I carry what I would say rocks and Glocks. I carry crystals and a Glock at all times. But no, seriously, I always tell people make sure that you're praying. Keep your faith. The faith is the most important thing for you when you're going out and doing this sort of thing. If you believe, if you use crystals, I do use crystals. I always have on something that has to, like, I have on my angel seal. I have on, and I always ask for guidance when I'm going in. Some people sage, but let's be honest, people, you can't do the sage rodeo for everything. You have to understand what sage is typically for. We have far too many people out here that think, you just rub some sage on it and you're great. You're not. If you are someone that's new in the field or you're interested in the field, reach out to people like the Night Stalkers. Watch the show. You're going to learn something. You've got a wealth of knowledge. You can't believe everybody, but I tell you, when I say Night Stalkers, Father Casey, all of them, they're amazing, and they want you to be safe. That's they're not going to steer you wrong. I'm not always right. I'm a little on the rough side, so I will tell you, take a slingshot and holy water. It is what it is. But be aware of your surroundings. Graveyards, since they were in cemeteries, since they were brought up, people think they're just the safest places on the planet. They are not. Don't go into a cemetery by yourself. Not just because of the paranormal aspect. There are snakes, other wild animals that you don't want to be out there by yourself and something happens to you. I've seen it before. I do have a friend that shall not be named because they know what kind of idiot they are. They went into a cemetery. It was June-ish in South Georgia, and they got bit by a rattlesnake, and they were by themselves. So I don't think the spirits liked it too much either, because they brought something home with them along with that snake bite. So it's very important to, and I know people say this all the time, your faith is the most important thing that you have.
And common sense.
Yeah, well, you can't sell that, Billy.
That's the truth. Common sense is one of those things that, you know, some people are just born not to have any.
Melvin.
Yeah, Melvin.
And she's absolutely right. You know, people like to spend time alone. I do a lot. But in these kind of things, when you're doing it, you're absolutely right that you can trip over a gravestone, break your leg in there, you're stuck. Especially if your phone breaks, you know, then you got nobody and nothing. And that's just the physicality side. Snakes, animals, ne'er-do-wells that are hiding in there. So yeah, buddy up.
And human predators as well. I mean, especially us women, children, we have to be even more careful. And I think that's another thing that we tend to forget sometimes. Sometimes we focus so much on the other protection, we don't think about the physical side of it.
That's the common sense thing.
That is
Situational awareness of where you're at, escape routes, all of that stuff.
Yep.
Just be smart about what you do. And the faith, you know, the same if you're buddying up going in, where two or more are gathered, where the faith is strongest.
Yeah, and one of the things a lot of people don't think about either, like for instance, down here, Savannah, and actually, you know, a lot of New Orleans, a lot of these locations are not in the best areas of town, and there's been a decline, and it can get very dangerous.
It's also more dangerous when when you're in these big groups and you're in groups like that. It's not only from what, you know, you've got a personal problem and a personal safety problem with the people that are around you, robbery, from everything else, but you also have a thing where there are the type of people that are not good types of individuals. You can get together with people that may be against you in a certain way, get a piece of your hair, something from you. Next thing you know, they're going to try to do something and send it back to you to get rid of it. There are all kinds of things going on that way. It happens all the time. We hear about it, and people will start to see it happen. And that's one of the important things that people need to understand, that when you're watching your friends and everything else go down the hillside and following these things, please be aware that you can save them and say, hey, we got a problem, and maybe we need to have you talk to Father Casey or somebody like that, then they'd be able to help you.
As far as the taking the hair that you mentioned, you're seeing the Haitians and the Africans and the Cubans flooding in the southern border. So that brings in that other type of religion that's not common here in the States. You mentioned New Orleans and Savannah and all that.
Yeah.
More common down there. But now it's going to spread throughout the country, and you're going to see more and more of those West African, Ugandan, ancient, kind of old spiritual attacks coming in, and they're no joke. You know,
that's not what you want.
Yeah, the thing about it is that, you know, here in the United States, we have a lot of people that play with the new magic. You know, they're not they're creating and playing with the new stuff. They're not the old, because the old is buried and you really have to work at it to be able to get it. You need some other things involved with it. But when you start seeing these, the Haitians, the Ugandas, all these things, and you start talking about the Santerias and the Ashuns and all that starting to come in, look, that is ancient stuff, and it has been around for a long time, and it is serious business. Serious.
And the real danger in it all comes when you've got somebody new that's dabbling in it, and they're combining all of these different religions. And I mean, how many
Backfire.
cases we have cases that are the result of witchcraft?
Yeah, and there's other things about it that are also that you know you have to understand something. The spirit activity that are from these things that are ancient, there are ones that are high up in that. And if you just respect that, they're coming after you.
Yeah.
I mean, you may be trying to do the stuff and everything else, but let me tell you something: you don't want to unleash
You don't want to anger an ancient.
spiritual, yeah, an ancient. You don't want one of those on top.
The rise.
And it doesn't.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, Casey. It doesn't help. And I hope I'm not saying this wrong. What is it that Udemy website? You can become a elder witch in 24 hours if you take their class and read all their material and take the test at the end.
It's the same with clergy. You know,
Yeah,
$99. I can become ordained.
yeah,
Really?
yep.
Yep. And another thing too, I mean, we know that everywhere is haunted, no matter where you go. But what
Absolutely.
they need to know is don't investigate your own home, because you don't want to come home to all of that every day, or have something in your home that you weren't actually looking for. It may tell you it's grandma, but it might be something else.
In the spiritual realm that she's talking about, they don't have mind reading capabilities, but they have a long term understanding. They knew grandma, especially if they have been around that particular area, your particular house, your particular plot of land, and they'll be able to tell you things that are absolutely what grandma would say, how grandma would react, how grandma would smell. And that's part of that deception that comes in. It's why people get fooled so many times. And
Right. It's kind of like the internet.
right?
People can tell you they're one person and they're not.
Exactly. A great analogy for the spiritual realm. They'll tell you that they're kids, you know, and somebody played with a Ouija board and they're, oh, these little kids and they're so fun. They're absolutely not children and absolutely not.
And Sherry's having hot flashes.
Oh, Lord. No, and I think that's one of the things that people have. I've actually, I mean, I already know I'm odd. I don't need anyone to tell me, but they couldn't understand why I did not want to communicate with my family members. That is one, that's just, everybody has certain rules they follow. My rule is I do not try to contact my family members. It's just a big thing for me. I know when they're around, and it is what it is. But I'm not one that ever went out seeking to speak to them. It's just a big rule for me, because especially of how close I was to a few of them and how bad I would want it to be them. And I don't want to end up in a situation like Casey was talking about. I don't want that.
It's a perfect recipe. You want something so bad, and when you get that kind of made up validation, you believe it to be real. Like when we go to the cases, all these people are experiencing, and it's completely real to them. That they think it's the grandmother, they think it's the children, they think it's, and it is to them. But in the essence, it's not real. It's all the illusion to get them in, and the further they get in, it starts to affect them and break them down. That's when you get into the infestations in the house, and it will go to obsession onto that person, a continued focus on that person and isolate them. And that's how these cases start. So, and I agree with you. I've been in this field, but I don't attempt to contact any of my past relatives. Angel Lee did an amazing thing at the event. I just went for Mexican dinner afterwards, and she named my dad, my grandma, 2 cousins, and I was standing in the back of the room. She couldn't even see me. And
I remember that very well, and that was
blown
crazy. Yeah, that was a great
I've
night.
still got her scribbles in the
Yeah.
office here.
And
She's
we love
amazing.
Angel to death. We
Yep.
love Angel
Yes.
to death.
Yeah, one
He's
of the things
amazing.
that
There are
Yeah.
people that do have spiritual gifts, and I've been lucky enough to run across a few of them in all these years that can communicate, can get those kind of receptions from the other side,
Mhm.
and it's a beautiful thing when it happens. But
It
the
is.
majority, like we were talking about, you and I, Beth, talking about a year ago, the people that come out and they will tell you what you want to hear, like a mentalist in the that if you say the right things and work the right way,
Hmm.
you can believe that you're talking to somebody or getting validation from somebody, which isn't true. Yeah,
True.
Angel is amazing, Vicky. She is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're working on something with Angelie to be able to have her come up and also do an event here shortly. And we'll hope we'll have her on into the far here, and we'll talk about it. And we're also working on an event. And as I said, right now we are trying to put it together. So look forward to that here in the future. It's going to be big time, big news, big news. It'll be super time. Um, but we know when we do with all this stuff, and I always go. We get so many questions about paranormal sometimes, and we're just a paranormal team. We're just normal people, and I appreciate all the stuff we can. We try to give the best information, the best that we can, because we're going to give you the truth, what we see and what we've dealt with. But it's funny when people start teams and everything else, and they go to these places, and they always are asking, well, how do I get into an investigation into a residential house? You know. And we've always said it's hard to do residential and everything else, but it's all about your team. And I was just thinking about that when I was listening to everybody do all this, and it's so funny. Like when we go to a residential house, Night Stalkers comes to your house in your neighborhood. Uh, we just walk in, and the next thing you know, everybody's doing their own gig. We know what's going on, and it's funny because it all works in that rounded group. And some of the interesting things about it is, here comes Father Casey into a house, and he's going to talk to the people and everything else. But one of the greatest things about Father Casey is while we're doing other work, he's walking around looking at stuff. And the stuff he's looking at is your books, your music, your Bibles, all that kind of stuff, and anything that's on the wall and the things you're collecting. Because guess what? That tells you something about that individual and what you may be encountering in that house.
When you walk into those places, and most of the time the people are out of sorts or scared or mistaken about what's there.
Mm-hmm.
Part of why I've stuck with Night Stalkers from the very beginning is how professional everyone is and smart. When you walk in, you have to be a counselor, a sociologist, a psychologist, a family counselor, a paranormal expert, and a spiritual advisor. All of these things in one just to be able to do a residential case because you're walking into somebody's life as in the midst of whatever's going on. And not usually the blessing time, like doing a grand wedding or something, is when they're scared. And being able to isolate and figure out, investigate like a police officer would, and be able to respond like a caring counselor would, and help them pass this situation is why the Night Stalkers have been successful. And we have the best tech guy in the business. He can break apart pictures and videos. Billy and Tanya, Bear, Melvin, I guess.
I mean, you all have great chemistry, and the team was put together in such a way that there's not a lot of teams out there like you guys at all. And you don't just help people doing that. You try to support all of us out here too and give us the best information. You all have a lot of experience, and you're so loving and caring and professional at the same time. And you all know what each other's doing. Like it just falls into place and it goes.
And it's part of when we go in too that I fully trust those two and Bear right
Yes.
here. And when we go in, it doesn't have anything to do about us. that we're just, and I was going to say this too, that all the investigators and all the people in the chat room, in the paranormal field, were just people. And
Yeah.
when we come in as Mayor, as Billy, Tanya, and me, Melvin, and we come in without any drama, without any agenda, except to help those people. And that kind of harmonious collective has been so beneficial to so many that it's a blessing.
Yeah.
It's a pure intent to help with whatever
Yes.
the situation is.
It's got nothing to do with getting scared or
Right.
fame
Yeah.
or anything like that. It's the true benevolent. We're going to help you however we can, and that's what makes a resounding difference in those people's lives. And we do aftercare as well, which is important. That they know they're not alone in the world, even after the team has left. They know
Yeah.
they can reach out and negotiate their path back to having peace back in their lives, and that's what's important.
Right, exactly. And it's also kind of funny. We had a phone call today, so I did talk to you all about trying to get to a case up in northern Bowling Green as soon as we can to discuss and help out this individual to give them some peace also and help them understand what's going on. So I'll get with you all about that later.
I've got one too.
Yeah, it's kind of they come in groups. They come in many different ways, and it's very
I might
interesting.
have one there for you in one of your favorite places. in
Oh,
Tennessee.
great!
That's always the best thing you want to hear, right? My favorite
Yeah.
place.
Yeah. My favorite place means oh my gosh to me.
And I've been very fortunate. I didn't stop with just one thing. I wanted to make an impact as far as bringing people together because if I love you, I love you. And I truly believe that if you spread love and joy and it changes things, it'll make a huge difference. So when I started out with my brother, my sister-in-law, and my niece, and we still have that team here in Atlanta. Wicked Woman Paranormal, that is something that's very important to me because there are a lot of us that don't get the recognition we deserve. And, every time you see anything, you're telling people that, oh, they're a psychic medium or that's all we're worth. We've got some really great female investigators, and we've got people like you. And I have some great pair brothers that have been there to support all of the women. It's important to me. I've been part of the Black Wolf. I've done volunteering. Volunteering is a very big thing to me because these locations mean so much to me. Not everything is just about the paranormal. History and the paranormal go hand in hand. We can't lose these places, and if we don't help, it takes a lot of money. Just the electricity bill, repairs.
In this field, there's a lot of different agendas.
It's finding the true ones that are up for the good stuff, and it's all about the good things. It's like
some people are in it for the adrenaline. It's the rush going on a hunt, and they get a kick out of it. Some people, like us, our pure intent is just to help. I mean, we've experienced this stuff. We know it's real, and people that need help, if they're in a battle, we're willing to go in, step into battle with them, and help them get through this. There's some people that they want to be on TV.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
their intent to get
But when we go out, we also want to. I love that.
There's so many different agendas in the field.
Yeah, there are a lot. But the good thing about it is even when we are about helping people, we're also about learning. We learn every day at every place we go and every place we're going to continue to go. But the reason why we do it and why I do it is because it's like, and I'm sure Father Casey does the same. It has the same thing. And We'll hear his rebuttal here in just a second. But, look, I want to try to be the best I can be, and I want to have life, the best life that I can have and enjoy. And I cover a lot of different things in the paranormal, and in all the world is the whole world is the most paranormal place in the world. The Bible is the most paranormal book in the whole country, that is, in the whole world, about paranormal. And I share that with everybody, and I carry that deep in my heart and my soul. And I don't want to go alone. Where I walk, I want others to walk with me. I want to take them with me, because that is part of the journey. Not to just make it to the top of the mountain and be king of the hill, is to bring the others with you. And that's what we try to do every day. That's what I try to do. I think that's what we all try to do each day.
Yeah.
If you're not doing that, then you're missing a big part of life. So.
Never stop learning. That's one of the
Right. Things are ever
Exactly.
things that
Exactly.
every
We
day
never have it
in
all
this
under
life,
control.
because none of us, as much experience as we got, as much as I've studied here, still is learning. I have a class coming up next Monday night, because I stay on that grind of learning.
Oh,
But
yeah.
another thing Beth was talking about is how her volunteer work, and all of us here, we do a lot of volunteer work and a lot of work for the communities that we come into. And you inspired me, Beth, with a situation that happened a while back. I worked with missing and exploited children years ago, and a situation that happened where we didn't get to do an event together has got me back into working with them. And like we already have the Isaiah 117 house,
That's excellent.
where we take in children that have been taken by the state to give them a safe place, and now pick back up working with missing and exploited, because while we are in the paranormal field, we also have abilities and gifts to be able to help and work, like the Paranormal Kicks Cancer. Wonderful people that did a good event, and helping people with what we do. And so you inspired me to get back into that.
Now, Casey, are you guys taking donations yet?
The house isn't fully built. I know Miss Franklin in the chat room has some up, and I'll find out exactly what's needed and when we can. I do have a storage unit down there, so I'll take whatever. But let me find out exactly what.
Maybe
Yeah, I've
we
been
can do a
holding
little
off.
drive. Maybe we can do a little
Yeah.
drive to bring some stuff together and bring some paranormal people down, and maybe collect some stuff for that.
You would
Wonderful.
love it. There's a Bigfoot. That's where the Bigfoot event is, right there in Mont Eagle, and there's a sign in town that says Bigfoot spotted here.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
There's a Bigfoot.
You
There's a
can
big
zip line and see them.
Yeah, and I can bring my size 16 down there any day. Put a footprint down there.
A local diner has a Bigfoot burger, so I don't know if Bigfoot is still there, but
I think we might need to go try that.
at least a portion of him is.
Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, and
Yeah,
I've still got some stuff for you, Casey. I've been holding off because, like I said, I know y'all aren't finished yet, and I fully intend on getting some more stuff together for you.
Appreciate it.
I'm glad that that was a big thing for me with my niece missing, and I've always tried to help. That's why Eileen Jones and I started the Paranormal Against Missing and Exploited Children.
Yes, ma'am.
And we're going a little bit further. One thing that, and I always, no matter who I'm talking to, I bring it up. Missing Indigenous women are need to be at the forefront also, because nobody is talking about that. No more stolen sisters. It's really sad.
It's not just Indigenous women. It's so much across the board. Doing my thesis, I was telling you I have a class next Monday, and part of it is the satanic ritual abuse, which I kind of specialize in, and how non-traditional Satanists are seducing young people, and then they're just gone at any age, and I won't get into details because it will just bring a vile reaction from everybody in the chat room and in here. But it's absolutely real about people disappearing, and if we just bring awareness to the historical sites, to what's going on in the world, to faith, to friends and family, we're giving back more
Yeah.
than we receive, and that's the beautiful thing.
It
Here,
takes
here,
a
Casey.
village.
Well said, and it's 100% true. And I mean, it's an emotional thing for a lot of people. But let me tell you something. It is going on. It is very large and very nasty, and we need to step our foot down and do some stuff about it. But
The cases running were about 200,000 to 240,000 in 1984. This
wow.
is this many years later.
Yeah.
And it's expanded every year since. It's the same
Into the into the millions, into the millions, and it is
every
just,
year.
Very sad.
Every year is like the migrant thing at the border was the
Yeah.
biggest until the next month was the biggest until
right, and it scares me, and I don't mean to get into it with that, and in fact, I won't even get into it. It's best to leave it. It's best to leave it where it is. But
exactly. So I'm very proud of your giving and your volunteering and your for the children. That is important, and the indigenous women, because that's also an important thing, and it kind of gets overlooked, especially in the mass media. And with them, if we're not the ones ringing the bell, then nobody
Yes.
hears about it.
And I that means a lot to me, and I promise not to get all teary eyed, but that's another thing why the paranormal means so much to me. I don't think people realize, and my kids would attest, my family would attest to this. The paranormal has changed my life. Because I always hid and I did not, tell people what I was doing while I was investigating. And then when I started meeting people and became part of the actual community, I have met some very amazing people that have made a huge difference in my life. Being able to help other people has made me a better person. I've actually had the outlet to be able to help people and do more for them, not just in a monetary form, but in a more memorable, I'm able to touch people's lives on a much deeper level. And they have, in turn, gave me the biggest gift. They've touched mine. And so I want people to understand this is not all about going out and doing investigations. There is so much more. It can change your life for the better, and you can make a difference in other people's lives. You guys are part of that. There's many people in this chat room that are a part of it that have made me a better person. And I'm thankful for that.
I gave a homily on that a couple of weeks ago, that listening a little longer, letting somebody go in front of you in the grocery store, pushing back a cart, smiling at someone, or just giving them a wave. Any little thing that you bring light into, that will resonate in ways that you'll never get to see the outcome, but it changes the world. But if you're nice at the girl at the register, maybe she goes home and she's not having such a bad day now, and her family has a better night. The kid doesn't get yelled at, so now the kid has a better day. We usually never see the repercussions of our actions, but they are so important and really so simple, just like you were saying, being there and being there for each other, even if it's a stranger. Vicki Norris loves you, Beth Allen.
Oh, and I love her. Sorry,
and
guys.
we
I'm not.
love everybody on the chat room.
Yeah.
Sherry, in your comments, thank you so much. It means a lot to me.
I'm a big girl. I got a lot of love to give, so I can love everybody.
Hey.
It's funny. We've got so much going on, and we want to bring different stuff to the. One of the things is we sit back and we do radio shows, and we get the people out here to do it. We want to make sure that we're doing the stuff that you guys want to hear. Drop us a line. You know how to get a hold of Billy. You know how to get a hold of Casey. You know how to get a hold of Beth. Tell us what you want to hear. Tell us what you want to see. I mean, I was actually thinking about going and trying to do a short little show that will be like paranormal in the news, telling you about all kinds of weird paranormal stuff that's happening within the country, around our areas, or anything like that.
Love
And
it.
just doing that, and just doing a paranormal, a place shot like that, and just to get it out there. Tell me what you think about it. Tell me some of the guests that you want to see. There are so many people out there. We've had some guests on the show over many times. We'll bring back, or we'll look for the newer ones. There's a lot of people writing new books and doing more things and coming out forward doing more. Let us know, because while we're out working and doing this other stuff, we're not always looking to the other things. So we rely on you a lot for what happens here and what we can give you. Okay. And we want to give you the best we can give you. We just want to make sure that you guys are happy, and you're a great bunch of people, and you support us, and we want to support you back, and we want to give you the best thing to do and help everyone grow, and we all grow together. It's definitely something. Now, what else is coming up?
The chat room has voted that they want to see Bear dance on TikTok.
Yeah. Well,
You guys,
I'll see if I can find some of those old videos that I might have around. And
y'all need to talk to Mama Bear about that.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. If anybody knew the life that my secret life that I lead when I'm just, here by myself, I'm insane, and I do some weird stuff, and it takes a lot of. I'm the person that dances and sings down the road and in the stores and jumps up and down and does very bizarre things. So, it just keeps my sanity. So, it's just a way of life. But coming up on Halloween here, and we've got so many good things going on. We got the celebration of the Day of the Dead. I'd like to talk about that. We had a minute or two to talk about that, Casey, because that's an interesting part of how a culture looks at death. Are you prepared to do that, or say something quick about that?
Sure. It's the other cultures, especially from the African, moving into the Caribbean and up through Mexico, and Asian cultures, all have a reverence for ancestors that the Anglo and West do not have. From the Macambo that we were talking earlier, of digging up the dead bodies and dressing them up and feeding them, the Orishas that they have, that they try to gain knowledge from, feed and trade and buy, to the Day of the Dead. And when we talk about that veil thinning in that culture, and it's a beautiful thing, I think, that they all come together with that kind of reverence for their ancestors, and they mean so much. And America, I feel, has become such a disposable society that even people have become disposable, that the elderly go into nursing homes and they're forgotten about, and it's a sad thing. It is a bit strange that how much they put in investments, like I led in with the West African and Caribbean use of spiritual sites. The Day of the Dead, it's an honoring, it's a festival, and it's a beautiful gathering of those people. They do have their dark side to it, but for the most part, it's just an amazing cultural thing that we don't have up here. You're starting to see it come up because everybody loves the sugar skulls and the.
Yeah, exactly.
Disney put out the movie, so the influence is coming up here, and maybe it'll bleed over to people having more respect for ancestor history, generations, and
I hope so.
That's where you come from, and that's in your lineage. Like talking with Billy about our ancestors going back. It's an amazing part of life and who we are.
Yeah,
how
exactly. Yeah, ancestors are great guides. If you can talk to your ancestors and learn from your ancestors and continue to honor your ancestors, that you will go amazingly far because
Like the
they'll
generational
help guide you.
curses we talk about,
Yes.
it's also the opposite. You know, we don't have to always go negative. They're generational blessings.
Yeah.
A family that has come into that type of situation, and like Beth was talking, sight and things like that. A family can have generational people that have special gifts, special talents that produce, and it runs in a lineage. Stephanie Burke, a friend of mine, she's descended from the Salem witch trials, and she has her own special gift from her family that were taken out back then.
Yeah. It's amazing. There's so many good things to look forward to in the paranormal. We hear so many bad things out there in the world. We hear so many bad things with paranormal, even that way. Let's all look at the good side. We've got, Ron Keys coming up with some new stuff, new location. We've got Chris Summers and Randy Young coming up with a new location, all in Tennessee. So there's a lot of good, positive people doing a lot of good, positive work. And, we still have Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. We still have the wonderful Whiskey Tango Foxtrot and Billy Wilkerson bringing back and helping out here in Franklin with the wonderful Old Stone Jail. A great place to do, bringing that back and putting a lot into the paranormal, bringing history into it also. And then we also have the Octagon Hall, which we're going to continue to try to get stronger and stronger and go deeper and deeper with the history on it. So please see all these places, follow these folks, and stay tuned to Into the Far for coming shows and some changes that are coming around. So we hope that you'll enjoy them. We thank you all. We bless you all for a wonderful night and a great week. And we will hopefully see you here next Tuesday night on Into the Far.
Good night,
Have a
everyone.
great night, y'all.
Good night.
Good night.